Stepped it into AngelPad in 2015. They both gave up multiple six-figure salaries, one being in tech M&A, one being a doctor, to launch the company. They've since raised about $3 million, serving about 1,000 healthcare providers as customers that pay on average somewhere between $150 and $200 per month. They've got great churn rates in the form of 98% annual retention, again, with their team of 13 based up there in New York City to help doctors, again, communicate efficiently and, most importantly, securely in a HIPAA-compliant fashion.
This is episode 713. Coming up tomorrow morning, you'll learn from Sherry Atwood, and you won't believe what this divorced mom raised $7 million to do. But first, here's today's episode.
This is The Top, where I interview entrepreneurs who are number one or number two in their industry in terms of revenue or customer base. You'll learn how much revenue they're making, what their marketing funnel looks like, and how many customers they have.
I'm now at $20,000 per top.
5 and 6 million.
He is hell-bent on global domination.
We just broke our 100,000 units sold mark.
And I'm your host, Nathan Latka. Hello, everybody. My guests this morning are Ryan and Zach Hungate. They're the co-founders of a company called Simplifeye, Inc. It's the #1 technology experience for healthcare providers, patients, and their businesses. The company's platform of software solutions help healthcare providers improve productivity, efficiency, and profitability. Ryan is an orthodontist and previous Apple retail strategist, and Zach is a previous founder and Wall Street alum with a background in tech M&A. Zach, Ryan, are you ready to take us to the top?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
It sounds so much sexier, like being an Apple retail or a tech M&A. You decided to go into healthcare. What the hell is wrong with you?
I know, right? It's one of those things where it was like always my dream. I'm a Midwest guy, right? That's all I wanted to do was, be that doctor. Growing up on a golf course, my dad's actually a golf pro. I always saw the doctors out there getting to golf, so that was exactly what I wanted to do.
Trust me, I never thought I would talk to doctors all day long, but here I am.
And so I need to make sure I get you, for those of you watching the YouTube, so we've got Zach here on the right and Ryan on the left.
You got it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So which one of you is the orthodontist? Raise your hand. Okay, so great teeth, and on the left side, okay, good. And on the left side, sorry, you were like tech M&A. Were you at an investment bank?
So started in fashion e-commerce company called Southern Tide. I was an early employee there,
Yeah.
and then quickly went to the M&A side to see how companies go public and how they're sold. So that's kind of how we operate our business, where the end game is eventually, hopefully.
Quickly, did you get equity at Southern Tide?
Small piece, so
Small piece.
It's not life-changing, but the company did sell in 2011, so
Yeah.
it was a good.
No, we saw it all over the place. Those kinds of businesses really set the stage, I think, for what Dollar Shave Club ended up doing with direct to consumer.
Yeah.
All right, very cool.
Yeah. Go.
Take us into Simplifeye. So, what does the company do, and what's your revenue model? How do you make money?
Yeah, so we're a SaaS company, and basically what we're doing is we're trying to make doctors' lives easier. Every day, I was finding that I would walk up to patients and not have a clue what I was doing when I walked in the room. You've probably experienced it. If you ever listen to your doctor when they walk into the room, they'll do something really generic like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing today?" It's because we have no clue what we're doing when we walk in there. We have no clue who you are, whether I've seen you before. So it's one of those things where it started merging with the technology where I could start to provide something to the doctor and say, "Hey, here's all this information before you walk in. Now you know your patient. And on top of that, you're going to know where you're going first to make your schedule as optimized as possible."
Got it. And so what is I want to get a sense of where your guys' brains were at and financially where you were at when you decided to take the risk on this company. So, I assume you guys probably had a lot of savings. One was coming from tech M&A, one was coming from being a doctor. Is that true, or did you go for broke?
Oh, God, I wish that was the case.
So I was following Ryan from afar. He's in college, and we fleeced the idea out with a lot of our VC buddies, and then I raised some money from some of my hedge fund friends and decided to apply to one of the top incubators. So we picked AngelPad, which is big, a lot of the original Google guys, and took the chance, and we got in, actually. Over 10,000 companies applied, and we were one of 10 or 12. And so things worked out really well.
That was our big jump moment, right? So we kind of got together. I was practicing. Zach was having a really successful career on the tech investing side, and we were kind of it was kind of like limping along, right? It was kind of like a halfway project, and then we were kind of saying, this is going to be big if we put our whole selves into it. But, what's going to be that signal? And when we applied to AngelPad, we were like, okay, if we get in, this is what we're going to do. And boom, we got in and ended up,
What year was that? Did you get in?
That was 2015.
Okay. And Zach, how old were you at that point?
Simplifeye, 25.
25. And what salary did you give up doing tech M&A?
Hundreds of thousands.
Between 100 and 500?
Sure. What's that?
Between 100 and 500?
Yes.
Okay. And Zach, Ryan, same question to you. What salary did you give up?
Yeah, about 500. Yeah.
So, I mean, I always tell you have to be a little crazy to do, like, go into your own startup. That's like, many people go look at that and go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. You're like a safe bet, 300, 400, 500 grand. You're going to go do a healthcare startup. Like, what's going on?
I think our dad said the same thing.
How'd you rationalize?
We needed a social proof, and so we got validation from some of the best investors in the world, from First Round Capital, Softtech Ventures, Felicis. But even in the early days, I think that we knew each other. We knew we could do something big, and a lot of people felt that way. We were talking a lot about voice interfaces way before the Amazon Echo existed, and so we're just now at the point where the tech is available to do what we want to do, and pretty cool.
Yeah, we kind of saw one of those moments where we thought that we could be in every single doctor's office, and when you start doing the math, and if that's a possibility, which we know it is now, the math adds up really quick, where it makes that 500,000 look kind of puny compared to what might come in the future.
And how much total did you guys raise? Have you raised so far?
About $3.5 million.
Okay, that includes what AngelPad put in. Do they put in, by the way, what are their terms? Is it like 100 grand for 5% or something?
They put $50K in, and then the equity is up for grabs, but it's about 5 to 7.
But you're a negotiator, so I'm sure you got a much better deal, right? We'll keep that for the off-show segment here. All right, very good. So was that the official? I mean, do you guys consider that the launch of the company? 2015, you're accepted into AngelPad.
It is, yeah.
That's when you quit your jobs.
Yeah, that was when we quit our jobs. That was September 2015. We came out here to New York, and it all took off from there. Ended up, coming out of AngelPad really strong. Was able to raise, Zach mentioned our investment partners, but basically was able to raise from really exciting people, and that's helped take us to the next level as well. What is the describe to me who's paying for you? Is it a doctor from their own money? Is it like a healthcare provider? Is it the hospital? Is it a patient? Who pays you?
It's really the healthcare practice, so they pay us on a subscription basis. And so what we try to do is involve everybody in the team, so not only the doctor, but the staff, the assistant, the hygienist, the nurse. And so everybody's working together once the patient has come for their appointment. Okay, so
name like a healthcare provider that's paying you.
Yeah, so like the doctor, dentist, MD, basically.
No, but like name one, like
owner. Harrison and Bethke.
Oh yeah, there you go.
We know a lot.
Is there? I mean, are these like? I want to make this real for the everyone listening. I mean, is this like when someone like breaks a tooth and they go to their little local urgent care office? That's somebody that would pay you.
Absolutely, they're the ones paying us. Okay. Basically,
millennial sick. You go to the doctor in New York City, San Francisco, One Medical. That's where we would be.
Absolutely.
Got it. And what do they like? What's the average healthcare provider paying you? I guess over the term of a year or a month.
Yeah, so it's like $2,400 a year, basically. Okay. Or really, we like to think of it as a month-to-month thing because we prove ourselves every single month to your business. So basically, it's about $199 a month.
And what are you using to drive expansion revenue? Is it driven based off number of seats or additional product sets or more data or what?
We try to keep it really simple. So we go by location, and so just depending upon the size of the practice. So say it's that small local doctor's office, they'll pay us $199, but we have practices that go all the way up to a much larger scale that pay us a lot more per month. And then what we do is we start with this chat and workflow software application, and then we have higher layers that we could sell through. So sell them back data, sell them back advanced integrations with their practice management software.
And also like a HIPAA compliant chat. We're one of the first people ever to actually provide that possibility to the doctor. So now they're not only able to communicate within their practice, but also doctor to doctor as well.
And what is Zach, this is probably a question for you. You mentioned Amazon Echo a second ago. Is there a hardware play here or it's all software?
So we actually started on the Apple Watch. I think we're the first company that went all in wearable first. And so over the last year, we built out the suite to be on the phone, on the desktop. But yeah, a practice signs up, we're going to go ahead and outfit almost every single person there with an Apple Watch. And so most doctors do have the Apple sort of platform hardware. Now we're working to sort of support Android as well. So the the average customer has a setup fee and all that.
And how do you, I mean, so like I had back in episode 575, I had a guy on named Laurence Girard who runs a company called Fruit Street, which I think he told me, I think he used the first HIPAA compliant video chat or something like that. Why is everyone throwing around this HIPAA compliant stuff? It seems like a strong selling thing.
It is. It's huge. So basically what happens is doctors today communicate back and forth with one another in a very insecure fashion, right? And that fashion is email. It's actually
so
most
Boone can see it.
Or text, yeah, or texting each other, whatever it might be. And the problem is that there's certain standards out there that you have to communicate back and forth with each other at, and the standard is 256-bit AES encryption. The problem is like take your standard Gmail, that's just 128-bit. So right away, anytime you send patient information back and forth on that platform, you're not meeting the standard of care.
What's the fee if they break it?
So, and the fee if they break it is $50,000 per instance. So every time I send one email, that's $50,000. So if something bad comes of it, obviously, right? So a lot of times doctors will play the game and they just assume that nothing bad's ever going to happen. But
how much work in your sales cycle is convincing them of like the downside, right? Like, hey, you're getting off right now, but if this happens, like your insurance program is us and it's only $200 a month. I mean, how much of your time is spent making that angle?
Sometimes it's a fear sale, and a lot of times that works. So you really got to be careful, but I think it's always something someone asks, so we just try to be transparent.
And it's not too bad, too, because they know in the back of their head that something's wrong, right? We're actually terrified all the way starting in school to every day we practice of the government's out there to get you kind of thing, and don't mess up and cover your ass on everything. But basically, this is just one of those ways where we can help them feel a little bit better about their day-to-day process.
Yeah. How many customers do you guys have signed up to date?
We're in just over 1,000 offices, which is great. So we were really excited to celebrate that milestone.
So can I do the math? Can I take 1,000 offices times $200 ARPU to get about $200,000 in MRR per month?
Getting there, yeah. So
yeah,
we were not going to talk about the numbers publicly, but yeah.
Well, Zach, just tell me if my math is wrong. Why would it be wrong?
No, so you're basically right, but we basically onboarded over time a mix of paid and unpaid, and so some of those may be beta, but
yeah, absolutely.
Can we just put a bottom on it? So you're bigger than $150,000 per month?
We'll see.
We'll see.
All right, you guys watch the YouTube video, gauge their facial reactions, and you can figure out what their revenue is. All right, so let me ask you about some other stuff. So churn, obviously, is huge in a SaaS business. What's your monthly or annual churn look like?
We're good. We've got 98% retention. People really love the
monthly
product.
Or annually?
Annually. So annualized, it's pretty low monthly churn.
Yep.
We're very proud of that because we show a lot. We spend a lot of investment on getting customers set up properly. Actually, when we got our start, we would send somebody on site, a lot of times the doctor himself, to go ahead and train the staff. And obviously, it's not scalable over time. Sometimes you have to do those things. And so, especially when you add the layer of Apple Watches and you're training sometimes a non-savvy group of folks, it's helpful, but now we do everything virtual, like Skype, for example.
And real quick, what's your team size now up there in New York? Where are you at?
13 people.
13 folks.
Guys, big news. Last month was a huge month for the company I recently acquired, which was www.thetopinbox.com. I liked the company so much when I met the person who created it. It lets you send emails later on Gmail, set up reminders like snooze almost to keep your inbox clean, do things like send auto follow-ups, and do open tracking so you know when your emails get opened. It's great if you're in sales or CEO or trying to be more productive. So listen, I bought the whole company on the spot, and I want to tell you how I did it. I've showed the deal, by the way, to big, smart people, private equity firms, VCs, and they're dumbfounded. They go, Nathan, how did you do this? We've never seen a deal like this. How did you do this? So I did an unbelievable deal, and I want to show you the income report. So for me to send you the income report, go to www.thetopinbox.com. Click the red button that says install this on Gmail. And when you do that, my email will appear. It'll appear in a little Gmail pop-up window. Send me an email and I'll reply immediately with the income report. And you can see how I'm buying and growing small B2B SaaS companies. That's www.thetopinbox.com. Totally free to try and use. www.thetopinbox.com.
Very good. All right, guys, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. The first one, Zach, I'll take it to you. What's your favorite business book?
I don't know. Let's see.
Or
How
one
to start a startup.
All right.
That is a podcast.
That works. How to start a startup. All right, Ryan, this one's to you. What's your favorite online tool, like Acuity Scheduling?
I like big fan of Calendly right now.
I think Tope and those guys are doing really well. Number 3, Zach, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
5.
Ryan, what's the answer for you? I'm curious.
I like 3, I'd say.
All right. And then Ryan, we'll focus on you for these last 3 here. How old are you?
33 now.
All right. And what's your situation? Married, single? Do you have kids?
Married, no kids. Way too poor to do something like that.
And last question. Take us back 13 years. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What it was? One more time. Sorry.
What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
Let's see how difficult business can actually be. I think I underestimated that, especially as a medical practitioner. You never really understand the business side as much as you wanted to.
Yeah. Last question here, because this is unique to you guys. I don't usually ask this, but I'm going to. You're two good-looking guys. To get through what it takes to be a doctor. Someone's laughing in the background. They disagree with me, huh? Great team you have there, right? All right.
Yeah.
So Ryan, to get through like med school, like you have to be competitive as hell. I mean, it's a lot of work, very tough. And then Zach, on your end, when you're doing M&A stuff, same thing. You got to schmooze, you got to work it, you got to compete, you got to win, you got to beat other big players. How much of this is you guys seeing news about these companies going public and everything else and going, you know what? Like, we're smart dudes. Let's go play this board game and beat it. And we're going to show Dad, and I'm going to show my M&A friends, and I'm going to show all my doctor friends.
I think that's a big part of it. I think that it gets me out of bed every single morning to play against the odds because, like you were saying in the beginning, right, to go and make $500,000 a year, I kind of think of that as it's not easy by any means. It's a different kind of work, but at the same time, that's predictable. Right?
Back in my days, I was making a lot of people hundreds of millions of dollars, and I was just looking at it, why not me? And it's us. So we can go ahead and do that, and you just got to keep your head down and focus. It's the biggest thing.
There you guys have it from Zach and Ryan. Accepted into AngelPad in 2015. They both gave up multiple six-figure salaries, one being in tech M&A, one being a doctor, to launch the company. They've since raised about $3 million, serving about 1,000 healthcare providers as customers that pay on average somewhere between $150 and $200 per month. They've got great churn rates in the form of 98% annual retention, again, with their team of 13 based up there in New York City to help doctors, again, communicate efficiently and, most importantly, securely in a HIPAA-compliant fashion. Guys, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much.
If you enjoyed Ryan today, go back and listen to Seymour yesterday, who breaks down how to own a distribution channel to get 200 customers paying $15,000 per year. This is the secret to scaling your company, folks. Own a distribution channel.